Hey, Andre. Welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hello, Andre.
Hello, wonderful people. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Doing well. We're excited to have you on
Very much
because we
so.
came across you I think, just doing some research, and your name kept coming up, Andre Hatchett, Andre Hatchett. And so we
Yeah.
kept diving deeper because we know a lot of people.
We heard him on a podcast. We were listening to a podcast.
Mhm,
We heard him on a podcast originally.
mhm.
Yep.
We know a lot of people are looking for ways to generate income or to find something to do on their own. And you have quite an interesting
Yeah.
answer for that. But before we start jumping into your advice in this area, can you just introduce yourself to everybody that's tuned in and let them know what you are all about?
I'm 37. I'm of a Jamaican heritage, and I've been a long-time entrepreneur. So I'm kind of old school where I was selling lemonade and selling candy at school and shoveling snow back when we were 9, 10, 11 years old. And it's just always been my thing. It's always been my thing. I've had jobs along the way. I've been a janitor. I was a teacher's aide, scooped a lot of ice cream for many years. But in me was always an entrepreneurial bug. So at 22, I bought my first property. At 23, so I got another property with a family member. And I also started my mobile notary business, which I've had ever since, and been rocking and rolling. And I've been job free since for the past 10 years.
Wow. Wow. So that's what we're going to talk about, the mobile notary business. We want to introduce to our audience. Some may have heard of this concept, and
I doubt it.
some this very well may be brand new to them, but you can actually make money with a notary service. So we're going to dig a little deeper. Can you first break down what is a notary and what does that consist of?
Yeah, so a notary public, you're commissioned by the state that you're in to be an impartial witness to legalize documents. So basically, the client has the documents, you show up, you're licensed, you validate their ID, make sure that it's accurate and not expired. You watch them sign a document, you sign a document, you stamp the document, you go on your way, and you make between 60 and 250 per appointment.
Wow.
Just like that. And as a matter of fact, huh?
Is it that simple? No.
Yeah.
Is it very complex? No. So I'm a simple guy. So I don't do complex things. I don't even like complex people, to be honest with you. We just don't really gel like that. I like simple stuff. Let's go anywhere you want to go. Let's go anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know where I want to go. Let's go anywhere. Let's just go. So that's me, right? That's my thing. So this business, here's what I learned from it. I learned that if you can deliver an effective service in a timely manner and make people's lives easier, you can get paid a good amount of money for it.
Nice, nice. So let's talk about the beginning. You were first introduced to this concept at the age of 22, I believe you said?
22, 23, yeah.
Okay, there. 22, 23. Okay. So how were you first introduced to this side of entrepreneurship? Because you are an entrepreneur, you are self-employed, you are making money doing this. And can you make a full-time income? But how do you start? How did you first get your start?
Okay. So some mutual friends of mine told me about a guy who I knew, but we weren't really friends like that. His name was Ricky Salmon. Shout out to Ricky. And they said that Ricky goes somewhere, shows up somewhere, and makes like 75 or 35 or 125, and he's there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. I was like, what are you talking about here? At that time, I was making 15 an hour. I'm working all day. So all day I was making like $100 a day. And I said, okay, you got to give me Ricky's number. I'm going to call him now. And he was nice enough. He was doing it for about a year or so at that time. I shadowed him for a day. After that, I was like, yes, this is it. It's a very practical business. It's not ultra sexy, which a lot of people don't know about it. And it just works. So I'm on the practical side of things in life. And I saw him make $75. So we were there for 15 minutes. That was all I need to see right there. That was it. And ever since then, I've been doing it.
So now you are an entrepreneur. You have multiple businesses that you run. And I've heard you say on more than one interview, you said that this particular business has been your most consistent.
Yeah. This has been the most consistent business that I've ever done. For the simple fact that people always need one of the services that I'm being offered. My phone rings. I haven't done paid advertising for this business in years, but I guess I did so much of it in the earlier mid stages that what I did still lives on the internet. And yeah, it someone needs fingerprints, someone needs an apostille, someone needs a loan closed, someone needs a will or a power of attorney notarized somewhere. And yeah, it's been paying me. Literally, I've been profitable probably 3 weeks after I started the business.
Wow.
Wow.
So some people may be listening to this and said, okay, wait, do I need to go to school for this? Do I need to get some type of certificate? Is there some type of class that I have to go through? Do I have to be certified through a particular organization or a bank or a financial services? You started, just, I'm assuming, without any of those. So what's the typical process? I heard that you said that you have to register with the state that you currently live in or the state that you're going to be doing the notary services for. So does someone need schooling? What type of training do they need to be able to do this?
Okay, no formal education. In every state that you perform the jobs in yourself, you do have to become licensed in that state. So in New York, it's a test you take. In New Jersey, where I'm most licensed, it's no test. It's just mailing in the application, getting that part done. Generally speaking, the process to become licensed is either a test or paperwork. You can usually have that done within 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the state. Now, to learn the business strategies, that's more intricate. Again, not hard. A bunch of simple stuff. And we teach you that at our school.
So how do you find out, like depending on what state you're in, how do you go find what your rules are for your state, whether you have to take a test or whether you just have to do an application?
Yeah, you're going to go to your state, to the Department of State website or the Secretary of State website. One of those two websites will tell you the process for your state.
And what are you searching? Like when I go there, like what's the official title? Like what am I searching for?
A notary public application.
Yep. And from what I know, the application does not cost that much. Like I know here in the state of Illinois, it's only $10 to actually just fill out that application. So talk about simple. So you all that are listening, and I'm going to ask you too, Andre, can somebody make a full-time income off of this?
Yes, I was just going to bring that back up. Yes, you can make a full-time income out of it. I started out part-time. I was working the job, but I was getting too many calls, and I was getting the $100 a day thing, and each job was offering like 120 to like 225. I was like, I got to go. I got to go. So yes, you can do a part-time or a full-time. The business is there. Another question I get asked all the time is this lucrative where I live? So we've had, since 2015, over 5,000 students take our class. I haven't had anyone who's followed our steps ever tell me that I can't make money. Now, in their area, the fees might range. So it might be lower in some markets and higher in some other markets. But I have never heard anyone tell me that I cannot make money if they followed our system, no matter what city or state they're in.
So can you throw out some real numbers here? You've had over 5,000 students. So you've seen someone make because I think that this gives you options. This can be a side hustle. Like you said, this can be part-time. This can be full-time. What's the most that you've seen and what's the least that you've seen for somebody that's just doing it very casually, very passively?
Casually, passively, usually after a couple of months of training. If they're kind of halfway doing it, maybe like $200 a week. Full time for our students and my friends, like about 5 or 6 of my friends are in this business as well. They usually make on a low end $900, higher end about $2,500 a week.
Nice.
And if you go to our Instagram page, I post students and I post my pay stubs and the money that we receive. So you can go and check it out to make sure that it's valid if you need more proof.
What's the IG handle?
TheNotaryBusinessSchool.com.
Right.
I'm sorry. The Notary Business School on IG.
All right. Okay. We'll make sure we have all the links to the show notes in the description or also in the show notes.
So again, let's stick with, what you've seen as an instructor and teaching people this business. What has been the difference between those who have had success and those who have had, kind of just moderate or not as much success as others? What's been the demarcation line between the two groups?
A couple of things. One, this business isn't ultra exciting, and some people are looking for this big burst of enjoyment or excitement, and this really isn't it, to be honest with you. For most people, it's you're gonna take a call or get an order, show up somewhere, get paid, and leave. Some people are looking just for something else. So, that ain't it. And a lot of people, they overcomplicate this business. And in our first lesson, I said, look, if you're an overthinker or a natural overcomplicator who just has this need to just make things more complicated, you aren't going to make money. If you can just follow and execute what we teach you, maybe adding your own thing here or there, you will make money. So those are the people who don't get it, and people who do get it, they just know and they just want to execute, and they know how to execute without adding unnecessary steps to the process.
So let's talk about the time difference, because you said somebody who's doing it halfway, they can make, which is still great. Somebody who's, kind of doing it on the side can still make, $200 a week. But then you said somebody who's really going at it, they can make $900 to $2,000, $2,500 a week. How much time is that person putting in per week to make that type of money?
It's usually done on the marketing side of things. So if you spend a solid 7 to 12 hours for the first month or so marketing and advertising, and then you're able to respond quickly on the phone and make sure that you're locking down clients when they call you or respond to you in a quick time frame, you'll be at the top of the top of the pay cycle. As an example of some success stories, my friend, her name is Cam. She came to a workshop in Oakland last summer, probably like around right now. She made $5,000 last month in June. For the first 6 to 8 months after the workshop, she was trying to do a bunch of things. She would not focus, and I was like, Cam. So we did a private session, workshops, and I was like, you got to cut everything else out. That's your problem. And actually, that's most people's problem in life, by the way. Mine too. I have to get better at it. I haven't gotten perfect at it, but I've gotten way, way better at it. So focus, one thing at a time. All right. She cut everything else out. We worked together privately. In the first week of that, she did one service, apostilling, legalized documents for a foreign country. She made, I think, $800 within the first week to 10 days. And last month, June, she made $5,000.
Wow.
Since she's been focused, she's made over $12,000, which has been about 3 to 4 months or so.
Man. Wow. Interesting.
So these are some tangible numbers. Yeah.
Wow.
I just had a super practical thought run in my head. So help me decipher this, because you said, you need to have basically good customer service when people call you. So do you set up a separate phone number for this business? Are you putting, like, when you're marketing and advertising, are you putting a different number out there? And then if you are, and maybe it redirects to your phone, how do you know when to answer, hey, or answer blah, 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 mobile notary, how may I help you?
Great question. So I tell people you could do this. Phase one is you can go to tollfreeforwarding.com. They have a toll-free number. It could be 866 number 800 or your local area code. And you'll know who's a client calling on that number, because it will show you that number. It will show you your toll-free number that's calling you. So that's one step. And then you can answer it professionally. And they also give you an option to upload a voicemail into the answering software. So if you miss the call, they'll hear the professional voicemail. Number 2 is, if you don't want to do anything else, you answer your phone, every phone call, like it's a business call. Do not answer it because a lot of people are new in entrepreneurship, which is cool, which is why I'm here. And they don't answer phone numbers that they don't know, and they answer like, hello, like, who's calling? They're like, oh, shoot, it's a business call. Oh, hi, yeah, I can help you with that. No, you win people over with your website, and you guys have a dope website, by the way.
Thank you.
Web presence. Speaking of web presence, you guys are dope.
Thank you.
They hire you via your web presence and how you answer the phone, because they don't know you. Which is why web presence and how you connect yourself over the phone is so important.
So true, so true. So let's back up. So you started this just by shadowing somebody, and I think that's phenomenal. You kind of figured things out on your own. So step 1, you apply with the state. Step 2, if your state has some type of training, you have to either take that, but not all states require that. Then what did you do next? Did you throw up a website? How did you market? What was your next steps? How did you create these connections or network, or for strangers to even call you for your service?
Okay. I think you asked me, how did I market and get calls and make money? Gotcha. Okay. So I got the license before me. So first of all, I failed the first test. I had to take 2 tests. I'm not a great test taker, but I failed the first one, took the second one, passed that, got the commission letter in the mail, yelled and screamed. And then I started to advertise. So first of all, my friend has so much work, he gave me work. I have to give him a cut from it, but that was a great bonus. I went to the site called 123notary.com. 123notary.com and notaryrotary.com. Those are notary directories where people like us advertise and clients go to find us and we show up. Started with that. I also started cold calling. As I started cold calling companies who need notary services in the New York region, I cold called and I emailed and I said, hey, I'm Andre C. Hatchett. I'm a notary public. Here are the areas I cover. I would love to be added to your preferred notary vendor list. And I got some flyers, some mailers. I know they aren't as popular as before, some little postcard things, and I mailed them out to title companies who need notaries for loan closings, and attorneys' offices who need notaries to notarize wills and power of attorneys, and that got me a great pipeline.
Nice, nice. So it went very well for you. You kind of took off, and I'm sure that your family and friends surrounded. I know we're like this. Anytime we find out something great or we're doing it ourselves and it works, we're like, look, everybody, look over here. Like, it's a ton of money to be made. Was that your story? Did your family and friends, did you take them underneath your wings? Did they see what you were doing? And now, I mean, you built an entire school out of it, right? So how did that happen?
So that's interesting. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Family and childhood friends are the hardest people to get to do stuff. I don't know if it's a thing in our community. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a thing, but they are the hardest to get to do stuff. I have strangers pay me $1,000 to give me what I gotta give them for free all the time. So first of all, most of them thought I was crazy for leaving the safe job that I was at, even though I was making 32, maybe 40 grand a year with overtime and stuff. I mean, not honest work. Nice work, we're fulfilling work. Summers off if I want and all that stuff, but I was still minimized. They were like, work the job for 20 years. I was 23. It's not even 20 years now when I've been doing it for like 14 years. So I got some pushback from that because it was the whole safe thing, whatever. But once I started rolling with it, they started to take notice of it. I wasn't getting laughed at. And in that time frame, I know it's not that long ago, but it is. Entrepreneurship wasn't as common as it is now for us as a Black people. So I had friends who were laughing at me behind my back. And then I found out about it through the grapevine. I was like, oh, they think I'm crazy. But results don't lie. Results do not lie. I mean, I got a house, I got a couple, I don't have a job. Things are working, so people started to believe as I went along, and it did hurt up front. It did, because I was looking for this emotional support that I wasn't able to get from people closest to me. Luckily, I had other friends who were in the business who kind of helped keep it going. And look, PayPal payments and cash and checks will help override all that stuff. So if you're in that predicament, just keep it going.
So do you officially, because I'm assuming now that this was your full-time self-employment, did you make it an official business? Like, did you get registered like an LLC or incorporated? Like, how somebody starting out, I'm assuming that they don't have to necessarily do that. But if you wanted to grow, I'm sure that you started to really formalize that company.
Great question. I started with an S Corp, not right when I started the company, but not that long after that. So I actually missed out on that stuff. I did get an S Corp and an S Corporation, so I am an INC. I did make sure that everything was legal because I knew that I was going to go with this thing. I knew, because here's something else. So I'm technically less self-employed now and more of a business owner. So Robert Kiyosaki's book, I had a job probably 2 weeks ago or so. The client paid me up front $175. I had my friend who's a notary as well. He did it for $85. So self-employed Andre would go do the job himself. And again, not bad, $175 for 10 minutes. That ain't bad, right? Half an hour there, half an hour back, hour and a half, $175 paid up front. But business owner Andre, who's busier now and more strategic, had him do it for $85, and I kept $90. So that's where I've been with it. The majority of the job, I still do jobs myself every now and then. That's where I'm going with. That's where I am with the business now. Is farming the jobs out. The technical term is called being a notary signing agency, and I make some good money doing that.
That's awesome. So basically you have...
There's levels to this.
Yeah,
There's levels.
Yeah, you have contractors that work for you.
Yes.
That they take care of their own taxes per se.
Yep.
But
I give them a
nice, W-2.
1099.
Okay.
1099,
Nice.
and they do their own stuff, and I pay my fair share, and everybody wins.
Love it.
This
Absolutely.
is not. I'm getting. I like this. I
Mhm.
like it because you can start here. You can build
Yep.
something. Then you can help other people
Mhm.
Yeah.
get jobs. I think it's
Yeah.
just it can become a win-win type situation.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, what about like safety and privacy? Because I hear that you said that you get in the car. So for somebody that's listening and it's considered mobile, do you
Yes.
have to drive to their place of business, or can they come to you? How does that
Or
work?
do you go to people's houses and all that?
Great
Yeah, do you
question.
meet them in local places?
So safety is a concern. I've heard very, very, very few horror stories about anything going wrong, just to give a heads up. I do go to people's homes, offices. Sometimes we do it outside on top of their car, Starbucks, all different kind of places. But you make the money by traveling to the client, because if they come to you, the majority of the fees that you can charge are lowered because they came to you. That's where you make the money, is the convenience for the client. So that's that one. Now, some people, they don't want to go to people's houses after 9 o'clock. Some people say, I'll come, but if you don't mind, please send me a copy of your ID via email, on letterhead, just so they can give it to someone else, just in case something else goes wrong. So there are precautions you could take, and I tell people, trust their gut, have them meet you outside, bring somebody with you. If you feel funny, especially like if you're a lady and alone, and still have them meet you outside if you don't feel comfortable going inside. Take whatever precautions you need. But again, in 13, 14 years, I've heard very, literally single digits on the hand horror stories about anything going wrong.
Gotcha. So you are signing legal documents that can be upheld in court. So how important is it for the person that is the notary public to sign their name, and to make sure that they're very, very cautious in making sure that they sign appropriately, and the person that's signing is the person? Like, how important is that? And I'm assuming that you also have to have some type of insurance in place as well to cover you.
Mm-hmm. I have something it's called E&O insurance, errors and omission insurance. So if you lose a check after a loan closing, and the check is for $40,000, and somebody finds the check and they cash it, now the title company wants to sue you, you have insurance that will help cover you in those kind of matters. Hopefully that won't happen, but you have insurance to cover you those kind of matters. That's our whole thing. Like, we are there to make sure the person who said they're signing is who they said they are, and that they're awake and coherent. We also do a lot of hospital visits where we notarize wills and power of attorneys and living trusts in hospitals. Sometimes, again, very, very seldom, some people try to get slick. Oh, Granny left Angie all the money. Granny's sick now in the hospital with dementia. I'm going to get a new will updated. Granny won't know because she has dementia now. So now I'm going to have a new notary do it, and now I'm going to get the money. Barbara, not Angie. So if you are doing a hospital visit, ask the person who's calling you over the phone, is the person who's signing the documents, are they awake and coherent? Very important words, awake and coherent, especially if it's a will or estate documents is what they're called. That stuff kind of helps protect you. And I also recommend people to have a journal. In some states it's required, in some states it's not, but it can't hurt to have it. It's where the person signing the documents will sign and date, and they'll state what they had notarized as well, and you'll do the same, and it will just help keep your record book tight. And always validate their ID. If it expired, you can't notarize the documents.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. What type of tools should someone have? I just heard you mention a journal. I think that's actually great. Every piece of document that you notarize for someone, have that person sign in your journal so you can kind of keep a record. I'm assuming that you also have to have a printer, because you do have to print documents that you do have to take sometimes to the client as well too. So what type of tools should someone have in the beginning when starting out?
Good stuff. So bare bones for people who work on tight budget, a laser printer, which you can get like a good Brother one for like 90 to 125 or so. You're going to need some good pens, legal and letter size paper, because if you're doing loan closings, some title companies and law firms want you to print out the documents on legal size paper. A little briefcase thing to hold the documents to look professional, paper clips, binder clips, a car would help, the journal. And that's really all you need to, on a bare bones basis, to get the ball rolling. Everything I just named can be bought for probably between $250 to $500 on a high end as well. Notary commission, notebook, journal, printer, all that good stuff. $500 you can get in the door.
That's awesome. And yeah, duh, I never thought about that. Good pens. Are there
Good
any
pens
particular
help.
pens? I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, are there any particular pens of your choice that you definitely would recommend?
I don't know the names of them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you're talking about like the gel pens, I'm
the
assuming?
gel pens at
Yeah,
Staples.
those are
Yeah,
good.
it's got a
Okay.
couple of good ones. And get blue and black, because if a property, let's say, is in Florida requires blue ink for their paperwork. So some states will actually have a blue pen if you're performing local as well. So just it can't hurt to have blue and black on deck.
Now, you also mentioned the importance of web presence. So are you recommending that we find somebody to create a website right away? Is that something we can do later? How do you teach that?
It can be done later. I would do it as early as you can, and especially nowadays with landing pages being, on the most part, inexpensive. You could probably get one built for like between $75 to $150. And I would also recommend an animated commercial or even just a professional video that you shoot on your computer. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have that stuff. And most people also don't have a business email address. So if someone is on the directory looking for a notary in your area and you have a website, a business email address, if everyone doesn't know what that is, that ends in a .com or .net or .org, you just set yourself apart from all the other people because you have those things. And one client who finds you, they might have work in your area 10 or 20 or 30 times a month. You never know if you're going to get what my friend Ricky calls a whale. He got a whale, and all of us ate off of that whale for like 4 years. They had so much work, we had to turn work down. Like literally, that's probably what helped me leave the job, was having that one client. So you always want to put your best foot forward. And I'm such a big advocate of doing the stuff that's on a lower price point as best as possible, because most people aren't going to do it. They're going to look over it because you don't need it. You can have a at Gmail, but will having a .com ever hurt you in business? I haven't seen anyone say I did not hire you because you had a .com or a .net email address. So these simple steps can help you separate from the pack, and you can get an animated video done on Fiverr for anywhere between $25 and $75 that can explain what you do and your hours of operation, and that will help.
Is there still room? Because I know I've been hearing about it, and some others may have been hearing about it. A lot of people now are kind of getting hip to this whole notary thing.
You done put 5,000 people in the game yourself.
Right. So is there still room for someone to actually still get their feet wet and dive in?
Yes. There is room. People ask this all the time. So here's the thing with any business. If you are in the top 20% of any industry, you're always going to eat. Real estate agents, everyone has a real estate license. Why do 5% of all the real estate agents make all the money? Because they're at the top of their game. People call me for jobs all the time. New people who take our classes get calls for jobs all the time. All you have to do is just be effective at what you're doing, and you will make money. So yes, there's plenty of room.
Now you mentioned there's like variations to this. You said you can be a signing agent. You talked about fingerprints, and you mentioned I don't even know how to say it.
Apostilles.
Apostilles. So like when you're going through the process, whether that's application, like you said, for you all, you had to take a test. Here in Illinois, there's no test. It's just application. So how do we learn these different things? Fingerprinting, I still can't say it. Apostilles.
There you go. You got it.
And signing, how to sign, where to sign. How do you become proficient so that you can be at the top of it?
And is there one particular side that tends to be a little bit more lucrative?
Great question. Okay. So I'll answer that one first. So I like the fingerprinting and the apostilles work more. Loan closings, you have to print out documents. Usually speaking, you have to print out, and that could be like 75 or 100 or so pages. You have to wait documents to come in. After you're done, you have to go to FedEx to mail them back out to the title company or law firm. I mean, still cool, but with the fingerprinting, you get paid on the spot or before you even leave the house most times, which is really cool. And after you're done with the job, you're done. You give the cards back to the client, and you're out. With apostilles, it's a couple more steps. You have to go meet the client. You have to go to the county clerk's office, and they will got the documents back up to the client or mail them to the client. But that service pays on average like $225 and up. So though, and for fingerprinting, I charge at least $125 for the first card and $25 per additional card. So on a good fingerprinting day, I can make easily like $200 to $300 with a couple of clients. So those are my particular favorites. Everyone kind of figures out their own niche along the way. And in our school, we have different courses which go over each step in detail. And we have a course called How to Notarize and Sign. So if you're nervous, well, I don't want to sign in the wrong place. I don't want to, so I'm worried. We show you how to do it step by step by step. And here goes a great testimony as well. About 7 or 8 of our current teachers were then students. So like they learned, they're making money, and now they come back and they help out our new students learn the game. So it's a great thing we have going on there.
Awesome. So I know that some, after they listen to this episode, they're going to immediately probably go fill out the application and things like that. But they may be a little bit deterred away from the dollar amount on what the state requires that you can charge. Like I know here in Illinois, I believe for to sign someone's, I think you can only charge like $1. So talk about the upsell on how you add on top of that to make money. Like you said, if you drive to them, that's a fee, right? That the state doesn't necessarily control, but that you can set.
So every state has a maximum of what you can charge. You're saying it's $1 out here in New York. It's $2. California, it's actually a lot in California. It's actually $10 per document. But that doesn't include travel fees. It doesn't include loan signings. It doesn't include fingerprinting. It's just if I'm at the bank or at a hardware store and I have on my window notary on site, that is where you're held to the state fees that you could charge. But once you're in the open market and going to clients, you set the price point for that. So don't let the state fees hold you back. Again, we're providing a convenience for the client by making life more convenient, and hence we charge a fee to travel to the client, and that's how we make our money.
Wow. You know what, Andre, talk about just the power of entrepreneurship, the freedom that you found for your life as a result of not, confining yourself to the job that you have. Like the wisdom that you were getting from families or friends was you have a good job, stick in it for 20 years and you'll be set. And you were like, no, I want freedom. Talk about the power of entrepreneurship as you see it.
Yeah, 20 years, and you're saying that again out loud. 20, just wait 20 years? Like, what? That's insane. Anyway, yes, so entrepreneurship, here's the thing with it, right? We got to pick our fights. At the job market, at the job I dealt with racism. Who would think that you dealing with racism? And we working with kids, but I dealt with it. And genderism. I know that's weird for men to talk about, but I was hated. I was very popular with the kids at the school. I was really great at what I did. I'm just like a kids-friendly person. And people hated me. People hated me at the school. And it was just insane. So with entrepreneurship, and I've had some rough years. I've lost focus, I've done too much at one time. I've been through the ringer. The thing about it is you at least have the option eventually, once you hit a stride, to live a certain lifestyle. It's easier to go out in the open market and command respect than it is to tell the job, you better respect me. Much easier to get that done. So it's good for the self-esteem. It's good for the personal pride. It's good because we need to show our people that we can do this and that people are actually making real tangible money without dealing with stuff at the gig. Tomorrow I have to bring my mom to the doctor. I don't have to ask anybody to take off. I brought her 2 weeks ago. I didn't have to ask anyone to take off or go. Also jobs, which I also don't job shame. So like, if you're happy to stay there, I just ain't happy at a job. That's a personal thing. You're capped off income wise. You're capped off. You are capped off at 90+% of jobs, no matter how great you are, how great you do. They pick when you get a raise most times. And I just wasn't feeling that. I've never been a fan of that. I've always been a fan of figuring it out, getting out there, making a way. And now I've helped thousands of people, and not just through the notary school, but through business coaching and our real estate platform, become homeowners, become business owners. My man, Derek, I don't think I was telling you guys about Derek earlier. He kind of like my protege. He's 26, 27. He has a duplex. He's living rent free in his home. He works on the other side. He lives on one side. Him and his girlfriend have a notary business together, and he's job free now. Like, I couldn't have helped someone to be job free if I have a job, full-time job. I helped them become a better employee, but I couldn't have that kind of impact on people if I would have stayed in the job market. So, yeah, that's my spiel on entrepreneurship. I'm a huge fan of it. I don't care if it's part-time, full-time. I don't care if you're an investor. I think every Black person needs to have some interest in some business. And last part, I don't control everything that I do. I'm a part of an investment group. It's called Todd Capital. Todd Capital, if you guys want to check it out. I think I'm in on 5 or 6 properties in Detroit. I put in like $500 or $1,000 on each of them. I don't manage anything. I can send the money, and they tell me everything that's going on. So there are numerous ways to go about it. I just want all of us to get involved in it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, we're definitely big fans of entrepreneurship as well.
For sure. So tell us more about your school, because you said that you cover everything that we need to know. If we want to take this seriously, we're looking to generate, whether that's a side hustle, another stream of income, or we're looking to start something that can sustain us on its own, we can learn it in your class. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, the notarybusinessschool.com. We've been around since 2015. We've had great reviews. If you want to be self-employed, we're sure you have to do that. If you want to be the middleman or middlewoman, let's say you can't get a job. Let's say that you can't get a license because you might have had an issue on your record in the past. That's totally fine. Work the phone and the email, you can make money with this business. There are so many different routes to go with it. And certain services might appeal to you more than others. So I would fully advise you to take our course. Maybe you can play around on Google and YouTube all you want, but there's something that you're gonna miss. And even if you figure it out on your own, it's probably gonna take you like 2 or 3 years to figure it out on your own. So spend a few bucks, learn with us, and we'll get you in the game. I love it. Our students love it. Our teachers love it. You're able to make good money on a part-time basis and scale up from there. I think this business, even though it's becoming more popular, still a lot of people don't know what it is, and that's actually great. You don't have to prove anyone wrong. Oh, yeah, this business. No. Just go make your money and live your life, and you'll be straight.
I love it. We'll be sure to have links to everything that you have mentioned in the show notes of this episode. Andre, this has been super informative.
It has.
I think that a lot of people are going to take you up on that. And I think they're gonna go after this thing, man. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to share with our audience.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing great work, by the way. I love you guys are doing it like as a couple together. That's a wonderful thing. Much props to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.